Okay guys, my next video would be Will loves you up wicked every day.
The judge is not pleased, and he wants to know what you've got to say for yourself. You are not really sure. You can't believe you're in court to defend yourself on charges of singing Happy Birthday. But that's just one of the many laws people around the world break every day. Who hasn't done it? You're walking along, checking your cell phone, and it asks you if you want to connect to Wi-Fi. All the data you're eating up looking at cat pictures isn't cheap, so you might as well hop onto your neighbor's private Wi-Fi account.
Yes.
Give me a hand moving this one out.
Yeah.
Well, that's illegal, and in many jurisdictions is considered unauthorized access to a computer system, which can carry hefty fines. The odds of someone getting prosecuted for it are slim unless they do it all day, every day. Just make sure you don't accidentally connect to the FBI's Wi-Fi account. Could be serious business. Giving false information to the public to gain access to a site inappropriately is a serious crime. If you actually manage to get access to somewhere you shouldn't be with a fake name and get found out, it can actually be considered hacking. What you do in the private Vegas-style casinos, but it also regulates much smaller forms of gambling. Want to place a bet with your friend over the outcome of a football game? It's okay, as long as you're betting for who has to wear a funny hat for a week instead of money, and that Friday night poker game for you and your buddies. Bad news, it's technically illegal organized gambling. But decides to drop a dime to the cops. At least staying home and streaming is safe, right? Netflix is probably safe, but be careful where you're streaming from. There are all sorts of shady sites out there offering free downloads of popular TV and movies, and not only do many of them carry viruses, but downloading copyrighted material is illegal. Many Americans have gotten copyright infringement notices from authorities, fining them for illegally downloading movies. What about all those sites that let you stream illegal content in your browser? Watching the content might not be illegal yet, but the sites that put it up are frequently raided and shut down. But what about when it's your account? This one is hotly contested. Can you share your own Netflix account? No one's stopping you from having a watch party with your friends to make sure no one can spoil the latest season of Stranger Things after seeing it first. But if it comes to sharing passwords, the federal government has classified this as an act of computer fraud. While no one has been prosecuted yet simply for sharing their password, it could happen at any time, and the streaming services can terminate your account for abuse. Even fashion can get you in trouble. Uncle Billy is a patriot and wants everyone to know it. That's why he wears an American flag hat, an American flag t-shirt, and even American flag boxers. But the U.S. government doesn't think he's being patriotic. They think he's breaking the U.S. flag code. The American flag is prohibited from being used as a pattern for clothing, decorations, or advertising. And how the actual flag is used and disposed of is strictly regulated. While this law is rarely enforced against citizens, It's something that people should watch out for, because an angry officer could easily slap it on as an extra charge after Uncle Billy's latest drunk and disorderly. But be careful that that American flag isn't hanging in the wrong place. It seems like a harmless way to decorate your car. A mini flag, or a pair of novelty dice, or an I Love Cats sign hanging from your rearview mirror. But if it's hanging a little too low, you might find yourself getting pulled over for a hefty ticket. If your decorations are obstructing your view while driving even a little, it's against the law. Some officers will be understanding and tell you to take it down before letting you drive away, especially if they love cats too. But this is one of the most common causes for tickets. Of course, everyone's guilty of this next crime. Most drivers have been wearing the road is clear. Just above the speed limit, and a cop car comes zooming out of nowhere to give you a speeding ticket. You can complain that this was a speed trap. You could say you have a clean driving record, but the odds are it's not going to get you out of that ticket. The speed limits vary around the country, but authorities take them seriously to enforce public safety. And the fact that tickets are a huge money raiser for the town is probably just a coincidence. And even being a pedestrian can get you in trouble. Most people think of it as a running joke, jaywalking. Surely, crossing the street isn't an actual crime, but in most places it's an infraction that can get you a fine, or even get you arrested if you have an active warrant or cause an accident when cars swerve to avoid you. Most famously, a mother in Georgia was charged with the death of her son after she jaywalked with him and he was hit by a car, although the conviction was later overturned. For most cases, though, jaywalking tickets are only common where there's fundraising shortfalls. Some weird laws are more local, but no less strange. Is there anything more romantic than a candlelit dinner? If you're a college student in New York looking to impress your sweetheart, you might want to stick to a restaurant. According to the New York Fire Code, lighting a candle in a dormitory or Greek house is illegal. It might seem oddly specific, but there have been a number of tragic fires in college facilities because students got careless. So the law says better safe than sorry. And frat house romantics should probably stick to light bulbs. Some regulations make a little less sense. Alabama takes their Sundays seriously. Many people there are very religious and they spend most of the day in church. And they have friends in the state government who are enforcing a day of rest, whether you like it or not. A lot of fun activities like card games, NASCAR, hunting, and even board games are banned in Alabama on Sunday, which mostly affects big gatherings. But participating in games at home is also technically illegal, which means you probably shouldn't play Monopoly, the only game that makes people angry enough to call the cops. Heading across the pond, you'd be surprised at what could get you nicked by the coppers. It's good, clean fun, for the kids at least, whether you call it ding-dong ditch or something else. It's a common prank where kids knock on the door, ring the doorbell, and then run before anyone can answer. Annoying, especially if the homeowner was in the shower. But in Britain, it's against the law per Metropolitan Police Act of 1839. It's considered willfully and wantonly disturbing any inhabitant without lawful excuse, and it can cost a prankster upwards of £500 to get caught. It's not only the child's game that can cause trouble with the law. Is there any more fun snow day activity than sliding on the snow and ice? Sure, your mother's probably hollering that you're going to get killed, but you only live once. Well, the government agrees with your mom, to the tune of a £500 fine. The Metropolitan Police Act of 1989 makes it illegal to make or use a slide upon ice or snow in the street because it could create a common danger to the people using the street to, get to work. Fine, the grown-ups win again. This next one is just kind of sad. In 2015, Frank Blades laid his beloved wife to rest and then lingered by her gravesite after the funeral. His reward? A ticket for £160. He and anyone who heard about it were pretty outraged. How can you punish a grieving widower for spending some time hanging around at the graveyard? It might seem heartless, but the UK has a reason for this. It was intended to allow gravediggers to work without having to worry about people being in the way. Still, whoever passed that law should watch out for a haunting. Sometimes it pays to be careful. You're in a rush to put a stamp on your letter and get it in the mailbox, and you accidentally put the stamp on upside down. You hate to waste money, so it'll be okay, right? Not in Britain. An upside-down stamp is connected with an attempt to get rid of the king or queen in Britain, according to the Treason Felony Act of 1848. That's right, treason. It's not just a minor crime, but one that can get you in prison or worse. Originally, the punishment was exile for life, but nowadays the law is just a strange quirk of the past. Still, better not test it. As for this next one, keep your temper. Drivers everywhere know the pain. You're trying to get through a yellow light, but a little old lady in the other lane slides in front of you, and then she stops at the yellow light with you behind her. So naturally, you lay on the horn while you wait for the light to turn green again. Wait, why is a policeman coming over? Because in Britain, sounding a horn aggressively can get you a fine of £50 or more if you contest it in court. It's legal to sound the horn to warn a pedestrian or driver acting dangerously dangerously, but only if it's before 11:30 p.m. or after 7 a.m. And this one may just seem silly. There's nothing like a traditional British pub crawl, but be careful you can hold your liquor. According to the Metropolitan Police Act of 1839, it is illegal to be drunk in a pub in Britain. Public intoxication carries a fine of up to £200, and the risk falls on the pub owner as well. The keeper of a public house is not allowed to permit drunkenness on the premises, and as of 2003, it's illegal to sell drinks to someone who's already clearly intoxicated. No wonder why Andy Capp kept getting thrown out of Jack's pub. For more on strange laws, check out Insane Laws.
Okay, guys, I see you Thursday.